Hello students, my name is Shayan Mitra. I am the faculty member of Department of Electronics of Communication Engineering of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management. Today's topic we are going to discuss about the properties of Fourier series for discrete time signal. And so the lecture number is 17 and the subject code for signal system is EC303. So let's begin with the lecture. So the properties of discrete time Fourier series. There are strong similarities between the properties of discrete time and continuous time Fourier series. This can be readily seen by comparing the discrete time Fourier series properties summarized in table 3.2. Okay, so as it is in the table here, we know that x of n is a periodic with period n, and y of n is the fundamental frequency is omega 0, which is 2 pi by n. So these are the list of different property of discrete time Fourier series, such as linearity, time shifting, frequency shifting, conjugation, time reversal, time scaling, periodic convolution, multiplication, first difference, running sum, conjugate symmetry for real signals, real and even signals, real and odd signals, even odd decomposition of real signals, and the Parseval relation. So let's begin with the property of first property, which is we are going to discuss is multiplication. The multiplication property of the Fourier series representation is one example of property that reflects the difference between continuous time and discrete time. The product of two continuous time signals of period t results in a periodic signal with period t whose sequence of Fourier series coefficient is the convolution of the sequence of Fourier series coefficients of the two signals being multiplied. In discrete time, suppose that x of n, the Fourier series of x of n is a suffix k and Fourier series of y of n is b suffix k. Now are both periodic with period n. Then the product of x of n and y of n is also periodic with period n. And as shown in the Fourier coefficients of d suffix k are given by this. Now this equation is analogous to the definition of convolution, except that the summation variable is now restricted to an interval of n consecutive samples. As shown in problem 3.57 that we have already discussed, the summation can be taken over any set of n consecutive values of L. We refer to this type of operation as a periodic convolution between the two periodic sequences of Fourier coefficients. The usual form of the convolution sum, where the summation variable ranges from minus infinity to plus infinity, is sometimes referred to as a periodic convolution to distinguish it from periodic convolution. Okay, so next one is first difference. The discrete time parallel to the differentiation property of the continuous time Fourier series involves the use of first difference operation, which is defined as x of n minus x of n minus 1. If x of n is periodic with period n, then so is y of n, since shifting of x of n or linearly combining x of n with another periodic signal whose period is capital N always results in a periodic signal with period of n. Also, if x of n is equal to Fourier series of a suffix k, then the Fourier coefficients corresponding to the first difference of x of n may be expressed as this, which is easily obtained by applying the time shifting and linearity properties. A common use of this property is in situations where evaluation of the Fourier series coefficients is easier for the first difference than for the original sequence. Next one, the Parseval relation for discrete time periodic signal. One second. So where the a suffix k are the Fourier series coefficients for x of n and n is the period, the value of y of n, summation of x n is equal to n, x of mod of x of n whole square is equal to summation of k is equal to n a suffix k square. As in the continuous time case, the left hand side of Parseval relation is the average power in one period of the periodic signal. Similarly, mod a square is the average power in the kth harmonic component of x of n. Thus, once again, Parseval relation states that the average power in a periodic signal equals the sum of the average powers in all of its harmonic components. In discrete time, of course, there are only n discrete harmonic components, and since the a suffix k are periodic with period n, the sum on the right hand side of equation of this can be taken over any n consecutive values of k. Now we will go through different kind of examples through which we are going to understand the different properties of uh, discrete time Fourier series. Now let us consider the problem of finding Fourier series coefficient of s of x k of the sequence x of n shown in figure 3.19a. This consequence has a fundamental period of 5. We have observed that x of n may be viewed as the sum of the square wave of x1 of n and the DC sequence of x2n in figure this, denoting the Fourier series coefficients of x1 by b sub k and those of x of 2n by ck. We use the linearity property of table 3.2 to conclude this. Okay, and using this we will get back to this relation. 1 second. Okay, next one that we are going to describe is in the preceding few section we have seen that the Fourier series representation can be used to construct any periodic signal in discrete time and essentially all periodic continuous time signals of practical importance. In addition, in section 3.21 we saw that the response of an LTI system to a linear combination of complex exponential takes a particularly simple form. Specifically, in continuous time, if x of t is equal to e to the power st is the input to a continuous time LTI system, then the output is given by y of t, which is h of s e to the power st, where from equation we have already seen what is that is coming from. H of s is basically nothing but the integration of h tau into e to the power minus s tau d tau, in which h tau is the impulse response of the LTI system. Similarly, x of n, in case of x of n, we know z to the power n is the input to a discrete time LTI system. Then the output is given by y of n, which is equal to h of z into z to the power n, where this equation is h of z, which is equal to k, which is will be in between minus infinity to plus infinity, h of k e to the power z to the power minus k, in which h of n is the impulse response of the LTI system. So okay, now the square wave of sequence x of n, example 3.5. okay, so when s or z are general complex numbers, h of s and h of z are referred to as the system functions of the corresponding system. For continuous time signals and system in this and the following chapter, we focus on specific case in which real value of s is 0, so that s is equal to j omega, and consequently e to the power st is of the form e to the power j omega t. This input is a complex exponential at frequency omega. The system function of the form s, which is j omega, viewed as a function of omega, is referred to as the frequency response of the system and is given by this h of j omega, which is in between plus infinity to minus infinity, h tau e to the power minus j omega t. Okay, so now similarly for discrete time signals and system, we focus in this chapter value of z, for which mod z is equal to 1, so that z is equal to e to the power j omega and z to the power n is of the form e to the power j omega n. So then the system function h of z for z restricted to the form of j, which is equal to e to the power j omega, is referred to as the frequency response of the system and is given by h e to the power j omega, and the value of this is summation of n minus infinity to plus infinity h of n e to the power minus j omega. So this is the frequency response of the signals. So this is the process in which we will describe the frequency response of a specific signal. Okay, the response of an LTI system to a complex exponential signal of the form e to the power j omega t in continuous time or e to the power j omega n in discrete time is particularly simple to express in terms of the frequency response of the system. Furthermore, as a result of the superposition property of LTI systems, we can express the response of an LTI system to a linear combination of complex exponential with equal case. We will see how we can use these ideas together with continuous time and discrete time Fourier transform to analyze the response of an LTI systems to aperiodic signals. In the remainder of this chapter, as a first look at this important set of concepts and results, we focus on interpreting and understanding this notion in the context of periodic signals. Consider first the continuous time case and let xt be a periodic signal with a Fourier series representation given by this. So, suppose that we apply this signal as an input to an LTI system with impulse response h of t. Then since each of the complex exponential equation is this is an eigenfunction of the system with s of k is j k omega z, it follows that the output will be y of t will be this value a suffix k e to the power j k omega 0 t, and with a transfer function or which is known as eigenvalue is h of s, and h of s will be written as jk omega 0. Okay, e to the power st, because all here we have written e to the power st as jk omega 0, so this is the jk omega 0. Thus y2 is also periodic with the same fundamental frequencies xt. Furthermore, if a suffix k is the set of Fourier series, now if a suffix k, furthermore, if a suffix k is a set of Fourier series coefficients for the input x of t, then a suffix k h of j omega 0 is the set of coefficients for the output y of t. That is, the effect of the LTI system is to modify individually each of the Fourier coefficients of the input through this multiplication by the value of the frequency response at the corresponding frequency. It means all these things that we have right now discussing, it provides us the information that suppose there is a input function. Now suppose there is a series of linear combination of input function, general complex exponential function. Suppose there are 10 functions are there. Now these 10 functions, the linear combination of these 10 functions representing the input signal. Now this specific input signal is fed to the system. At the output level, what we have is that this total cosine or sine function of the periodic signal has a series of coefficient which is multiplied with a Fourier series, which is known as a Fourier series representation. So each and every term is basically the constant coefficient will only get multiplied with the transfer function of that specific system. That's the basic fundamental property of the Fourier series representation as well as for the transfer function. We fed the input to a system, and at the output level what we get is the multiplication form of the constant coefficient that has fed to the system, with which is multiplied with the transfer function. Simple. Now this is the basic reality, is that nothing but the effect of an LTI system is to modify individually each of the Fourier coefficients of the input through multiplication by the value of the frequency response at the corresponding frequency. Okay. So now we'll go through a example. Okay, suppose that the periodic signal x of t is discussing example this, and the LTI system with the impulse response. Now the first we'll understand the impulse response is this h of t, which is equal to e to the power minus t ut. Now to calculate the Fourier series coefficients of the output yt, which must compute the frequency response. Okay, so how do we compute the frequency response? H of j omega, which can be written as we know, where is the frequency response? Here is the frequency response. Or for continuous time signal, we have the frequency response here. Where is it? H of j omega is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity h of t e to the power minus j omega t. Now h of t can be written as, this is h of t, e to the power minus t ut. H of j omega, the value will be e to the power minus tau, e to the power minus j omega tau. As is ut, so the integration will be taken care by from 0 to infinity, e to the minus tau, e to the minus j omega tau d tau. So integration of this form, we will get minus 1 by 1 plus j omega e to the minus tau, e to the minus j omega tau, 0 to infinity. If we put the upper limit and lower limit, we get the final result as 1 by 1 plus j omega. So this is the transfer function of that specific system. Now therefore using this together with the fact that omega 0 is 2 pi, in this example we obtain y of t, which is equal to minus 3 to plus 3 bk e to the power minus jk 2 pi t. Now the value of bk is nothing but the constant coefficient which is fed to the system with the general complex exponential, which will be multiplied with the e to the h transfer function, which is h jk omega, where the value of omega will be replaced by 2 pi. So bk is nothing but a suffix k into h of jk 2 pi, so that the value of b0 will be 1, value of b1 will be, so we already know this value of b1 is 1 by 4, 1 by 1 plus j2 pi, b minus 1 1 by 4 minus j2 pi, so on and so forth, b1 b suffix 1, b2 b suffix minus 2, b suffix 3 b suffix minus 3. These are the values, 6 constant coefficients at the output level. Note that yt must be a real valued signal, since it is convolution of xt and ht, which are both real. This can be verified by examining this, observing, and that with this. Therefore expressed in either of the forms given as 1 plus 2 summation of 1 by 3 dk cos 2 pi by kt plus theta k. Y of t is equal to 1 plus 2 summation of k 1 to 3 e suffix k cos 2 pi by kt minus f suffix k sin 2 pi by kt, where bk is equal to d of k to the power j theta k. Okay, the coefficients can be evaluated directly from the equation. This value is that this d1 theta e1 and f1. The real value, all the values will be calculated in the same form. In discrete time, the relationship between the Fourier series coefficients of the input and output of an LTI system exactly parallels. Specifically, let x of n be a periodic signal with Fourier series representation given by this x of n, this s of x k to the power jk 2 pi by n. If we apply this signal as an input to an LTI system with impulse response, then as in equation 3.16 with z to the power k e to the power jk 2 pi by n, the output is this. Thus, y of n is also periodic with the same period as x of n, and the kth Fourier coefficients of the y of n is the product of the kth Fourier coefficient of the input, and the value of the frequency response of an LTI system is, and the corresponding frequency is this. Okay, so let's take the example of 3.17. Okay, consider an LTI system with impulse response. One second. Consider an LTI system with impulse response h of n, which is written as alpha to the power n u n. The value of alpha is in between -1 to 1, and with input x of n is equal to cos 2 pi by n by n. As an example of 3.10, x of n can be written as Fourier series form. That is x of n, which is equal to 1 by half e to the power j 2 pi by n into small n plus half e to the power minus j 2 pi by n into n. So applying this formula, we get the value of x of n. So as we know that h of e to the power j omega can be has been written here as, from this alpha to the power n u n is 0 to infinity alpha to the power n into e to the power minus j omega n, or this could be rewritten as summation of n in between 0 to infinity alpha e to the power minus j omega whole to the power n. This geometric series can be evaluated using the results of problem 1 by 4. Means this, we know this series can be written as 1 by 1 minus alpha e to the power minus j omega. So the frequency response of this specific system is 1 by 1 minus alpha e to the power minus j omega. So we can then obtain the Fourier series from the input, this y of n half h e to the power j 2 pi by n, because the value of omega is 2 pi by n. So just replace the value of omega by 2 pi by n into e to the power j omega n, and this value is be replaced by 2 pi by n plus half h e to the power minus j 2 pi by n into e to the power minus j 2 pi by n. It means, what is that means? It means we just, this is the input signal, so these values will be placed intact at the output level. We just have to multiply it with the transfer function, this transfer function which is nothing but the frequency response. So this is the value. Now this value is basically this value, so we just replace this value with this value. So value of h of e to the power minus j 2 pi by n can be rewritten as half into 1 by 1 minus alpha e to the power minus j 2 pi by n, and this value will be stayed intact because this is the eigen function and this is the eigen value or the transfer function or the frequency response of the specific system. So the output signal will be rewritten as this. Okay, next, now if we write 1 by 1 minus alpha e to the power minus j 2 pi by n as r into e to the power j theta, it could be written as the output signal for discrete time Fourier series here is equal to r cos theta 2 pi by n into small n plus theta. For example, if we take n is equal to 4 on the time period is n is equal to 4, we can rewritten again it as 1 by 1 minus alpha e to the power minus j 2 pi by 4. It could be written as 1 by 1 plus alpha j, and by, so 1 by root over alpha whole square e to the power minus j minus tan inverse alpha. Thus we can have this value y of n, which is equal to 1 by root over 1 plus alpha square cos n pi by 2 minus tan inverse alpha. So we note that from expressions such as equation 3.124 or 3.13 to make sense that frequency response of h of j omega and h of e to the power j omega in equation this must be well defined and finite. As well with this chapter we will in the case of the LTI system under consideration are stable. For example, the LTI system in example this with impulse response h of e to the power minus ut is stable and has a well defined frequency response given by this equation. On the other hand, an LTI system with impulse response e to the power tut is unstable and it is easy to check that in the integral for h of j omega diverges any value of omega. Similarly, the LTI system in example this with the impulse response h of n of alpha to the power n un is stable for alpha less than 1 and has frequency response given by this. However, if alpha is greater than 1, the system is unstable, then the summation equation 3.133 is diverges. What is that mean? What we have get from this all this different kind of summation is that the value of alpha, if the value of alpha is less than 1, then the frequency response given system is stable. If mod alpha is greater than 1, the system is unstable. Now what is the, now if we have to take a closer look here, that what is the alpha value is, this is the alpha. So what is the alpha? Alpha is alpha to the power n is basically nothing but the impulse response of the specific system. So a system, depending upon the impulse response, the system is stable or unstable will be defined by the impulse response. The stability or instability of a system will be not dependent upon the signal that is fed to the system. A system will be stable or unstable will only be dependent upon the impulse response of the specific system. Okay, so that's why different kind of mathematical corroboration will help us to understand that output signal will only be and solely dependent upon the value of alpha. Now if the value of alpha is greater than 1, this value will goes to in an unstable form. What it means? It means we will not get a desired output for the specific system. Okay, so and so we will now the frequency response of the system will be described in the next topic of Fourier transform, where we will discuss with many mathematical proposition how we will can understand the frequency response of a system. So and how the frequency response can be plotted in a graphic with a graphical representation. Okay, so with these examples we will conclude our today's lecture, and throughout this 5 lecture we have understood what is a continuous time Fourier series, what is a discrete time Fourier series, how general complex exponential function can be written for the cosine sine function, or it could be said that a cosine sine function, or specifically I would say a periodic signal, any kind of a periodic signal can be rewritten as the linear combination of general complex exponential form. Okay, using that we can understand the phase response, the magnitude response of that specific signal which is fed to an LTI system, and the stability and instability of a specific LTI system will also be wholly dependent upon this kind of Fourier series representation, because a Fourier series representation is nothing but the representation of a periodic signal using linear combination of general complex exponential function. Now this general complex exponential function, when fed to a system, the output will be nothing but the specific the inputs exponential function itself with an transfer function which is a eigenvalue, which is known as an eigenvalue, and is also a constant coefficient, and through which we understand, as we narrowed down our range of discussion up to s is equal to j omega. So the value of j omega is nothing but the direct representation of the frequency response. So h of e to the power j omega or h of j omega is nothing but the frequency response of that specific system. So output of an specific exponential function is nothing but the output of a multiplication form of that input signal itself with the frequency response of that specific system. So impulse response of a system, if the impulse response of the specific system is unstable, the system will be unstable, and through different examples we can easily conclude that. Okay, so we will discuss this whole functionality of frequency response in the Fourier transform part. So we will conclude our lecture here. Okay, so thank you.